Hi everyone, this is Karen from Online Healing Community. Welcome to Creating Space. Today you're in for a treat. We're going to talk about cultivating a sense of wonder. And with us is poet and poetry teacher Rem Tanauan. Please help me welcome him. Hi Rem,
Hello,
welcome to
everyone.
Creating
Thank you,
Space.
Karen, for yes, thank you so much. Salamat po ng marami sa inyo. Welcome to Creating Space, and I'm so privileged and honored to be here. Salamat po.
We're so excited. This is going to be a very interesting discussion. Kasi, Rem, you started
Yes,
writing at 11 years old. So, can
yes,
you please
yes,
share with
yes.
us who or what inspired you to write?
The I remember the first poem I read was written by national artist Amado V. Hernandez. It's entitled Bayani. Naalala ko pa yung first line. If I may read it here,
Yes, please.
yung naalala ko talaga, ako ang nagbangon ng Gresya at Roma. Ako ang nagbagsak ng palalong Troya. Ang mga kamay ko'y martilyo at sandata, pambuot panggiba ng anumang pita. Kung may kayamanan ngayong nakikita, paggawa ko'y siyang pinuhunan muna. So it's all about labor, no, and the power of the labor as the bayani, no. And I keep on remembering that tula na ang ganda ng ritmo, ang ganda ng rhyme, and then I realized later on that it's actually a very it's a form, no. It's called awit, no. 6-6 na ano na at 12, that's 12 syllables. 6-6 na rhyming scheme, something like that. So and that's how inspired by Balagtas, no, long ago. So and then I keep on reading all these poems na in this tradition. It's called Balagtasismo tradition, no, ng pagtula poetry. So yeah.
So you
So
fell in love
yun.
with the words and with the
Yes.
poetry.
Tapos I keep on writing na. I remember the first tula that I wrote was entitled Kamay. I gave it to someone, to a friend. Wala lang akong copy. I don't have a copy. So, hindi ko na maalala kung ano. But then, I keep on writing. I keep on being inspired by songs. Alam mo yun, I was in grade 5, grade 6. I was the class poet na. So, I keep on writing and writing. So, it was a joy to me back then, no? Tapos, syempre, mahilig pa ako mag-drawing. So, I'll draw something, the design, the borders for the poem. And I love a good handwriting nung time na yun. So, yeah, I compiled them. I still have the copies before. Alam mo yun, yung mga ginawa ko noon. So, yun.
Wow. So many
Yes.
people are tuning in right now
Hello,
from
everyone. Salamat
Manggagawang
po.
PWD May Kakayahan. Salamat
That's
po
my friend Uwa.
sa
Uwa, hello.
yeah, Tatay Rem, salamat po sa pagbabahagi ng iyong kaalaman sa aming lahat. Chris is
Salamat kapatid.
here, and then Lee and I. Thank you so much.
Hello,
Please feel free
everyone.
to
Thank you.
join our
Yes, listening.
conversation. But Rem, I know you love
Uh,
writing, but in your recent blog, you
yes.
mentioned that you actually stopped writing for 10 years. That's
Yes,
a
oo.
long time.
Kasi long time, very very long time. Kasi nung time na yun, after the workshop that I attended, it was a struggle for me to really keep up. Alam mo yun, there's a certain style, certain taste on writing poetry. I felt that I couldn't write the way they write, no? So parang it's a struggle for me. Bakit di ako makasulat? So took me 10 years. Try ako mag-eksperimento. And then, thankfully, every time I'm invited to pray, ano, magdadasal ako, instead of praying the prayer, I'll write it in poetry form. I wasn't confident enough to call it poetry. Later na lang, no? But I realized na doing so helped me a lot. Ang sabi nga ng isang friend ko, that was your journey. You are you were brought back to to the very origins of poetry, which is prayer. So doon ako na ano, it was mind blowing for me kasi oh my god, kaya pala siguro parang it was a beginning of really reclaiming my voice over 10-year period. Kasi I can write literary poetry eh. Alam mo yan, parang it's just prayer that I'm writing. So yung desire ko makasulat ng tula, it was really stunted at the time. So
And you
So I'm
mentioned you
really
had,
glad.
yeah, that prayer opened up for you, right? And allowed you to
Yes,
write. But
yes,
you also mentioned that you had to return to your truth, to your depth, in order to find your
yes,
voice again. Can you tell us
yeah.
more about that?
Um, in terms of the truth, no, ang major kong truth kasi is that I cannot write the way other poets write. Yung major truth ko yun, ano. The second truth is that hindi ako makasulat ng mahaba. I cannot write long poems. I can only write short poems. And mostly inspired by haiku. No? So, in fact, I haven't write haiku for the next 12 years. Ano? Parang I just knew haiku, but then I was inspired by it. So when I was trying to experiment on poetry, my realization with my truth is that I need less words. No, and then as you know, I was trained as a ginhawa facilitator. No, and then the ginhawa philosophy is so ingrained in my work and in my poetry. So I can feel that ginhawa feeling. In fact, so katulad ngayon malamig, di ba? The coolness of rain and the summer breeze ngayon, ito na nakaraang summer. That kind of ginhawa is so literal to me, and then I can feel that with words. By the way, so when I return to that, whenever I return to that state of ginhawa, this is my truth. If I'm not maginhawa with my words, if well-being is not born out of words, I mean the words don't carry that ginhawa, then I won't go into that. I always return to that truth. Ginhawa as a value, as a core. Yeah.
When you say
So yun,
gunhawa,
nature yun.
um, yeah,
Mm.
gunhawa, you mean relax, carefree.
Um,
What would you?
uh,
How would you
marami siyang
define
ano sa akin
ginhawa?
eh. Even
Because
joy
you
is
always go
ginhawa.
back to.
Yeah, the feeling relaxed. Oo, sorry. Tapos kalmado ka, calm. Uh, there's a sense of peace that is inexplicable peace. You know? You're just peaceful at the moment. You feel blessed at the very moment when you realize that. Um, Sometimes it's meditative and contemplative or reflective. To me, that's ginhawa rin. Also, ginhawa to me is the fun and laughter, the exchange of stories, the spark of insights. These are ginhawa to me. No? Whenever I feel in touch with words, that's also a ginhawa. Um, that quiet time, that quiet serene time. No? Na nakaupo lang ako dito. I'm watching the sunset. I'm paying attention to nature, watching the clouds, watching the cats while feeding them. Uh, so these are ginhawa to me. I stop whenever I see flowers, I stop by and then I look at the flowers. Alam mo yan, ang ganda ng tapos pipicturean ko. So this is ginhawa to me. I keep on finding those snippets of time, snippets of moments. And I realized na parang that very moment is maginhawa to me. And then that will produce so many words, alam mo yun. Parang doon siya na-generate whenever I write, no? Yung witnessing of that moment. So yeah.
Right. So you have to be in this space of ginhawa, which is like peace or joy or insight for
Yes.
you. And that
Yes.
allows you to write.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Ang
Because
laking
you write
bagay nun.
every
So
single day.
so far I'm writing I mean two poems a day. So far may mga nasulat na ako dito nakaraan, di ko pala na-post. But then I just allowed this my post right now for the um, cultivating a sense of wonder dito sa creating space. So, but then whenever I write, it's just pure joy. Alam mo yon. I'm gonna read this poetry, for example. I'm gonna read one poem, and then mag-strike siya sa akin sobra kasi ramdam ko rin yung ginhawa nung tula eh. I will feel
Right.
the energy that you know in poetry it's not the words that you're writing, it's the energy. It's
Yeah.
the energy, um it's the beingness of the presence of the voice of the poet, or whatever that is, kung ano yung witnessing niya at the very moment when the poet wrote it. So that's what is
Right.
being transmitted whenever you read. And I'm always in touch with that. And whenever I write, I always also in touch with my energy, with the energy that I'm bringing with words. So and I feel that this is what also connects me with my readers. So yeah.
So it's the energy of ginhawa. So you're in a space of
Yes.
ginhawa when you write. And it's that energy of ginhawa
Mm.
that you share with everybody else who's reading it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Ayes, yeah. Ayes saying beingness of the present. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ai.
Yeah. How come there's so many things that inspires you? Like you write two
Yeah.
poems a day.
Uh, Kasi I always tell my students and my friends na poetry is all around us. It's all around us. Sobra. Parang little things around you that you don't notice. This is poetry. The words that keep on coming to you, alam mo yung mga naririnig mo, you overheard it from somebody else, you saw it from TV maybe, or even the very moment that is random, alam mo yon, and then it struck you differently. That's poetry already. So and we, we we think that poetry is about words. It's not about words. It's about the wordlessness. It's always about the wordlessness. Yun nga, yung energy na yun. And the wordlessness is always lahat na nakikita natin around us, every object. Pag nakita mo siya, for example, this, nakita mo siya, you have a word in mind already. Pag nakita mo siya, this is a headset. No? So, itong inuupahan ko, Silya. No, this is may
Yes.
cover. Na cover na medyo stretchable. Okay. So, then by observing things around you, they reveal words. Magre-reveal sila ng words. Ito infinite source of inspiration to. Infinite source of poetry. In fact, they're not just the source, they're poetry themselves. Your role as a poet is to put them into words, to pay attention, full attention. That will nourish your creative spirit, and that will nourish the world. Kasi that kind of attention is so valuable in this time of distraction. So, yeah.
Yes. So first, you have to pay attention. That's one. And then when
Sure.
you pay attention, that's when the words come to you. I love it when
Yes.
you say the words come to you. So it's not from you. The words are from the
Nagda-download
objects.
siya. Yeah, the ang one description that I use is that they are leaping from the object. So tumatalon sila mula sa mula sa object. Nakikita ko sila para silang buhay na ah, para silang para silang fairies ganyan. Nagtatalo na sila diyan. Then nakikita ko. Or kasi dalawa yung major senses natin eh, the sight and the hearing,
Yes.
no. So then through the hearing I hear, I listen, no. The words will come to me, para narinig ko siya, I overheard it from someone, minsan conversation, minsan the words that I've been using to, to speak in every day, alam mo yon, whenever I talk to people, maririnig ko uli sila na parang nagsasalita uli. These voices in my mind or in my memories, they will they will feed me the words, and then oo nga no, then I'm gonna write that word, and then doon na siya
It's
doon na siya mag-download, alam mo, I call it download.
yeah.
So sunod-sunod na siya.
I love the process. It seems so magical when you say the words are jumping out from the objects and
Yes,
coming to
it's so
me.
magical.
It's so magical. Or there are voices
So
and then they would just
yeah.
dictate the
Mm,
words to me. It seems so
yes.
magical.
Yes. I think maybe some writers won't agree with me kasi I've read this oftentimes na ang inspiration paminsan-minsan lang yan, hindi yan darating sa'yo. Pero what I realize in my process is that it will keep on coming to you if you pay attention. So what you need is the tool to remove all the barriers from accessing that infinity. Alam mo yun? That
Yeah.
infinite source of words, source of inspiration. um, we are not we're just cut off from it kasi nga our attention is so distracted.
Yeah.
Pero if you have the tools to access that, it will come to you every day. So yun yung
Yeah.
masaya.
Do you know that our attention span is shorter than a goldfish now
Oo,
because of
oo.
all the social media? Our attention
Yes,
span is now
correct.
3 to 5 seconds.
Oh my God, akala ko 5 minutes na.
No,
Grabe pala, sobra. Not
not
even,
minutes, seconds
na
now.
seconds na, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oo.
So you're
So
saying the
grabeng ano
gift,
yun,
yeah,
yeah.
shorter, around the same attention span as a goldfish. Can you imagine?
May phone na tayo pala. Totoo.
Yeah. That's why what you're
Ako,
sharing is
I
so
think,
powerful.
yes,
Because you're
yes,
telling us to
yes,
pay attention. Pay attention to objects. And
yes.
probably the words will leap out also from the objects.
Objects,
But
oo. Oo.
diba? But I've been
Alam mo yung,
reading up on this as
halimbawa,
well.
oo,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm reading up on this as well. And I told you about this, I think. Like Elizabeth Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love. She wrote another book. It's called Big Magic. And she talked about an American poet,
Ah,
Ruth Stone,
yes,
from Virginia. And
yes.
she's a poet all her life. And what she'll do is, but she's out there working the fields. And the poem will come to her from across the fields and run to her talaga. And she would feel the earth. There's this, like
Oo,
I was talking to you, parang it's like you're kind of the same in terms of
yes.
process. She would feel the earth shaking because the palms are going to barrel down from the mountain and go to her. And so what she'd do is she'd run to her
Yes.
house. And the only thing she had to do is get a pen and a paper. So when the
Yeah,
palm comes barreling through
write
her
them down.
body, she writes it away. But there are times that the
Yes.
palm, she's not so fast enough. And so the palm just barrels through her body, but she doesn't have a pen and it goes out. And she said that it's going to find another poet who can catch it because she wasn't able to catch it.
Mm,
And there were some
yes,
times
yes, yes.
when she thought it's kind of late already, and but when she's able to sit down, she
Yeah.
catches the poem, like catches it with the other hand, pero backwards. And so she catches the poem and so she
Ah,
writes from backwards, from bottom to top. So what you're saying is that it's not something like what you're saying, it's not us. The inspiration is out there if you're ready to receive it.
so you just access it. But you just tune
Yeah.
in. It's always there. It's like frequencies, no. If you don't have a phone working, you cannot access the frequency, diba? Or if you don't have a
Right.
radio transistor, diba? You can access the FM. It's always there. It's always there. You're just gonna access it. You just develop the tools, the senses, and the attention. This the full bodied attention to everything. Kahit when you go to your kitchen, you look at your pantry, magugulat ka may tula doon. Makikita magsasalita yung mga yung mga toyo at patis ganyan. So one day I wrote a poetry like that, no, na nagsasalita yung mga gulaman, the gulaman and the bread, nagsisisihan sila.
Ano
They're blaming each
nangyari?
other ganyan.
Wow.
Teka,
So there's a
butin ko lang yung talaga. It's funny.
there's a there's a
Nakakatawa.
story in your
Yeah, oo.
pantry. But one of my favorite
I
poetry of
mean,
you
I
is,
mean, you can
yeah.
find. Oo. Ano ka mo? Sorry.
Pero I
Uh,
love that you can
anong
actually
poetry yun?
sense.
Uh,
But there's the one that I like
yes,
is
yes.
wag. When you talk about it's okay to write
Yes.
whatever it is.
Oo.
Don't be confined. And you can even and I love that there's Char Char in that. There's Judgment and Char Char in that poetry.
Actually, I
Seriously?
wrote that deliberately kasi maraming grammar mistakes yun actually. Inintend ko yun. No? May mga Filipino grammar mistakes. The usual, no? I never edited that poem kasi my intention is that you don't mind the grammar first. What you mind is the poetry. You allow it to come out from you. Yun yung pinakamahalaga. Mm.
Oo. And you
Yes.
talk about that in a lot of your work, in a lot of your poetry. You say pagpapalaya. You use that word.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. Kasi the in terms of poetry, the feeling is that we're so constrained by the idea of writing a certain expectation na kailangan ganito ang tula. Poetry should be like this, should be poetic,
Right.
should be flowery in terms of words, ano. Kailangan medyo elegant yung words mo. To me, poetry is not about the status of words. Again, it's about that that sense of freedom that that is in touch with the wordless. Again, it's the wordless, and the wordless will reveal you the words that you need, that you're gonna write, no? Para ka nanguhuli ng ano, para ka namimitas ng salita. You know, when you look at nature, it's so abundant, di ba? Ditong isang araw lang, I went to a friend's place. Ang daming santol, hindi na nga nila makain. Sabi ko, I look to the santol, di ba? Parang inahayaan mo na lang sila malaglag. They're falling, one by one. And they're so abundant. So there's so much abundance in nature. That's how poetry is. It's so abundant around us. The words are so abundant, alam mo yun. They're waiting for us to pick them up. Yun.
Mm. Yeah, Teen Benavista is agreeing with you. She's
Yes,
saying,
amen.
Amen, Amen, Rem Tanauan. It's the wordless. So
Yes.
the wordless calls to us
Yeah.
and wants us to put the wordless into words.
Yes.
Ay,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
so beautiful. But yun nga, no, we don't pay attention kasi. That's the
Yes.
thing. We have to pay attention.
That's the work we need to do. Yeah. And kasi the belief is that kailangan we have to write this way. To me, that's not the rule in poetry. The rule is how much attention do you have? How much attention you can purely dedicate to a moment. No? That the
Mm.
words will reveal. It's tingin ko um the more we do it, the more words will easily flow. Sa akin kasi ganun yung nangyayari. And if you're gonna look at it, it might be too impossible to transmit that skill or to that. Pero as I had this, I mean, I finished 3 batches of poetry class, and then they keep on saying the same thing. Alam mo yon, per batch, every batch, yun yung sinasabi nila that I can access those words. They're just flowing in. Alam mo yon, yun yung sinasabi ng mga students.
Are you
Um,
serious?
they can access the words, no? So when you access the word, sometimes you just need tawag dito, some people hindi alam mo yung kanya-kanyang habit siya, kanya-kanyang
Yes.
timpla, mood, but then it's the same thing. When you access the words, when you pay attention, the words will reveal, lalabas lang siya, and then ikaw magsusulat ka na lang as if you're taking this dictation.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm about to say. So you become a
Yes,
secretary. You're not
exactly.
actually a poet. You're a secretary for the
Ganun.
Silya.
Yes,
You're a secretary for the Malunggay. You're a
yes.
secretary for your
You're the
pantry.
voice of the voiceless.
Oh, that's so
uh, kasi they
interesting.
cannot speak with words eh. Again, that's the wordless. Ikaw as a human being, you're the only creature in the universe who has a capacity for words. So your gift as a human being is to allow to give voice to the
To
wordless.
the
No?
wordless.
If alam mo yun, parang kung isipin mo
Yeah.
parang mystical and esoteric siya, pero to me it's so simple. Parang when you see, for example, the may poem Singing Bowl, I just look at the singing bowl, biglang nakita ko lahat. Nakita ko yung Tibet, nakita ko yung Everest, nakita ko yung
Yes.
Himalaya. Alam mo yun, I just wrote them down. Nakita ko yung mga deva, ganyan. Sinulat ko lang yung mga words na lumalabas as I look at my singing bowl. Ganun yung experience ko. That's why the poem came out like that. So it's so amazing to pagbabasahin ko uli siya when I read it again. There's so much resonance with that.
Yeah.
With the words. Parang for
Yeah.
some reason they revealed to me what I needed for those lines. So
It's
yun.
so beautiful. And now I understand why you love writing. Because it's
Yes.
a magical, beautiful experience to
Experience.
you.
Yes. Always like that. Yung
Oh,
notebook
and
ko nga,
it's
ganyan-ganyan na. Oh. Mag-
marami na talaga.
yes, yes,
Pero
yes.
tuwang-tuwa talaga ako dun sa WAG kasi you teach
Mm,
us, of course you tell us, yes, you have to pay attention. That's number
yeah,
one. Number two, you're talking about what do the wordless want you
yeah,
to what do the wordless want to convey to you. But also another thing that you say is keeping us from writing really is because we feel we're not good enough. And
yeah,
when you write yung sa WAG, ano, Ang galing. You just said, basta kung tutula ka, wag mong paltan ang nasulat mo kung tingin mo edi formal. Eh ano kung slang o balbal? Wag niyo masyadong seryosohin. So parang, you're just
Yeah.
really letting people just write.
Yes, just right, just right. It's a sort of manifesto on what poetry is, and not not restraining yourself. No, kasi if you think that you cannot write, then that's an oppression against yourself. No, parang you're oppressing yourself. Eh may expression ka eh. So palitan natin yung of ng X. Express mo lang.
Yes.
Yun,
Yes.
yun.
Lee is agreeing with you.
Uh,
He's saying true, right? Not to impress, but to express. And
yeah,
would you were
uh,
talking about this before. This is the
yes.
reason why you couldn't write for 10 years, right?
Because there is a high expectation on writing poetry. I mean, of course, kanya-kanyang taste yan, kanya-kanyang style,
Mhm.
and I cannot meet those expectations. Pinakamahalaga sa akin is what is poetry for me? What is my experience of it? And then it took me these years to just process those questions. Um, and then how to access again words that I
Mhm.
know that is just there, and like I know I can write, but then I have this difficulty doing so. So when I was able to do it, and malaking tulong yung principles ng haiku actually. By kasi the haiku itself, when it was being practiced by the masters in Japan,
Mhm.
they're just observing things. Alam mo yun? They're
Oh.
observing, and that observation resonate what is within. They don't tell that this is what I feel. What they will do is whatever is before them is the revelation of their inner state. Ganun yung
Mhm.
nangyayari. So
Wow, that's why it's healing.
yes,
And
that's
that's
why
why
it's
it's
healing.
connected to well-being.
Totoo, sobra.
Cool.
So
Okay, we just need to take a break, but when we come
yes,
back,
thank you.
we'll talk about poetry. What does it mean for Rem talaga really? And how can
Yes,
he teach you to really open up to wonder? Because that's what he's been teaching his students. Okay, just a 1 minute break and we'll come back. Please stay
thank
tuned.
you.
So that we can just help people stay calm and spread calm at this time. And if we can just really lighten the load of everybody, and lalo na with the social distancing that's being done, we kind of feel alone. Even now, we're still on lockdown. And I just want people to know that, guys, you're not alone. Kaya natin to. Together, we can do this. That's why we have programs every Tuesday, every Thursday. There's a class or a workshop which is free to the community so everybody can come together. Here are our programs on personal growth and healing for you. Okay, so we're back. And the question that Ram um asked before we ended is, what is poetry for me? I'd like to ask you that question. What is poetry for you?
Uh, Recently I had this definition that came to me, no? Kasi there are so many genres in poetry, no? Madaming ways of writing it. And sometimes there are conflict and disagreements on what poetry is. Pero I'm inspired of seeing it in its most basic terms. These are words you choose and put them in your choice of order. No? So the choice of words in your choice of order. I mean, in order of choice. Sorry, the words you choose, your choice of words in your order of choice. No, kasi and then when you see it, and the order of choice is actually in relation with space. Kasi most, if you see poems, they don't occupy the entire page. You leave a space. That space to me is the wordless, is the poetry. So yeah, when a text is written in that way, when there's a relationship with the space where it is written, then that is poetry. kasi what you are conveying is not just the words, it's also the space. So, importanteng ano 'yon, importanteng pagtanaw yung sa literal, the very literal um, description of a poem, no? So, parang Chinese painting, no? So, they paint because they don't reveal the subject, they reveal the space. So,
That's
I think
actually
I
very
read that.
esoteric also. When you talk about, because when I look at poetry, well, because that's me, I just look at words. But now you're saying it's not the words, it's the wordless.
Yes,
'Di ba? So many irony here. And now you're
yes,
saying it's not just about the words also, it's also about the space.
space, yes. So, 'di ba pag binasa mo, alam mong tula to kasi because of the space, 'di ba? When you look
Yes.
at the page, you know this is
Yeah.
it's a poem because of the space. So, and if you understand that relationship of words with the wordless, kasi ang tendency ng nagbabasa ng tula, they keep on focusing on the words, which
Yeah.
to me is a limitation of the potential of poetry, of understanding poetry. You have to see that the space is a reminder to you that is more. There's more to words than the. There's more to poetry. Uh, I mean, sorry. There's more to words in what you that what you read in poetry, 'di ba? Parang
Yeah.
hindi lang siya words. Meron pang ano, meron pang behind sa kanya na you need to pay attention. The
Yeah, Laura
paradox,
is
think
saying it's a
Laura.
paradox. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word. Yeah,
In
it's a
fact,
paradox.
I have a poem with a with paradox as a title. It goes like this, very short tula. One liner, one word. Um, dahil ang daming paliwanag, mas lalo pang dumilim.
Oo nga. Tama
Dahil ang
naman.
daming paliwanag, mas lalo pang dumilim. So, and we were not just about explaining words. In fact, a few words will reveal the magic, the meaning that is hidden between the words, between the lines.
Yeah,
Diba?
you talk
Kasi,
about your first haiku about new moon.
yes,
Was it
kanina.
new
Oh.
moon? And
Yes,
also another haiku about the stars. And you were
the
using
Malahiko.
very, yeah, you were
Yeah,
using very few words, but
yes,
but you actually explained a whole concept
yes.
already.
Uh, so, it's the observation of, tingnan mo, very ano pala yung astronomical pala yung mga yung mga ano kasi stars and new moon, no? Interesting. Um,
Yeah.
this is interesting. I'm getting insight right now, by the way, kasi if for our audience, I'm gonna recite the new moon. Ano, it goes like this. For centuries, this night has a luminous smile, still without a face, still without a pair of eyes. So that's new moon. And then in the other ones entitled Sukat at Tugma, it goes like this. Sa pagitan ng dalawang bituin, kadaliri ang walang hanggan. Kadaliri. You look at the constellations, di ba? Akala mo, that's infinite distance. But then when you look at it, halos between your ng fingers mo lang, ano? I
Yeah.
realized, I saw the two stars there sa sukat at tugma. And then dito sa tula ng new moon, wala silang pair of eyes. Parang magkahiwalay sila yun. Alam mo yun, I'm getting insights right now na that first tula about infinity and this tula about luminosity, ano, magkadugtong pala sila. The eyes that we're looking for, the pair of eyes that
The
we're looking for
stars.
is the stars in the other poem.
Yeah.
To me, that's magical right now. Right now, at this moment. Ngayon ko lang siya na-realize. Thank you.
They're connected. So new
Yes, they're
moon
connected.
and that's the
Uh,
your poem about
uh,
stars, they're both
we're
connected.
both connected. Oh,
And it's
grabe.
magical that you just figured it out now.
Right now,
And you're the
oh,
one who wrote it.
na-download ko siya. Oo. Yes.
That's so beautiful. Sabi ni Ai, astig ha. And that's
Yes.
the thing that you teach your, diba Rem? That's the thing that you teach your students. You told me
Yes.
one time, I really don't teach them poetry. What I do is I open them to wonder.
Yes. Amen. And that's the topic we have, di ba?
So for people here who are listening, who are not your students, How can they be open to wonder?
Halos we already we have touched the
Yeah.
weight
The
of the I think the call to us is to sustain the wonder. No, you have the tools to observe and to pay attention. These are very basic tools. Pero the wonder itself is the realization of the beauty of the randomness of what you observe. Kasi here's the thing, we for every day we want things of certainty, no? Kailangan ganito ang mangyayari, everything is in place. This is okay, everything is organized. All of these are necessary. But the point is there are things that we cannot organize. We cannot measure. We cannot put into certainty. There are things that are so random. Pag tumingin ka sa ulap, ako, this is my observation. Ano? Pag tumingin ako sa ulap, there are shapes that they reveal that sometimes you can, I mean, the truth is, when you see that at the very moment, you cannot see that again. Okay? I call it the kaleidoscopic moment. Ano? Nakita mo, hindi na siya mauulit kahit kailan. That that witnessing of that very moment is wonder. Alam mo na itong bagay na to hindi na siya mauulit. So the randomness, the uniqueness, alam mo yon, hindi na siya mauulit, no? How do you say that in English? And another thing is things have beauty. Meron silang inherent beauty, no? Even though you label it as otherwise, no? um Sometimes the grittiness of things, for example, I remember I remember I went to this place na informal settlers, ano, and yung isang road nila maputik, and then I saw this do sa maputik na yon, there's a puddle there na dirty water, ano, and then there's a face of a doll sorry, ulo lang ng doll, no, a head of a doll na broken doll, and the eyes are also punctured, ano. And then I look at it, oh my god, hindi ko pa siya natulaan. Now I'm gonna go back to that, ano, to that image, but that one struck me. It's so haunting and so poignant. It
yes, it's
reveals
scary
so much
actually.
of scary, but it reveals so much beauty to me. Na how come we have um this particular alam ko nawala na yun kasi umulan na everything, alam mo yun, but that very moment it has its own beauty to me. Eh ngayon naalala ko ngayon, so I'm gonna go back to that. Hindi ko pa siya natulaan, pero pabalikan ko siya to write a poem about that. So sometimes ganun eh, may makikita ka lang and then it will struck your whole being, para matitigilan ka for some reason, hindi mo siya ma-explain, you cannot explain it, and then do not deny yourself of that very moment. That very moment is so precious and so nourishing. I'll tell you, it's
Yeah,
so
now that you're yeah,
uh,
now that you're talking to me about it, I'm
yes,
actually there. I can see the puddle and the doll and the
yes,
head.
yeah,
And you're right, it's haunting. And you'd
yes,
love and it's so beautiful. But I'd love to write about it. But
yes.
now that you but yeah.
Please do.
So,
Please do. If the words are coming
yeah.
out, then express it. In fact, whatever that comes to you, the words that will go through you will be different from what will go through me. Ibang
Right.
witnessing yun. Eh. Lalo ngayon, ang witnessing mo, even it's so secondary, but then it's pay attention. Dito yung transmission ng ano, nung attention, na the energy, the wordless that we're talking about a while ago.
Yeah.
So that wonder, this is why stories are powerful, no? The stories will take a long time to tell. But poetry, wala ka pang words, may poetry na. So, alam mo yun,
What do
wala
you
ka pang
mean?
words. Yun, yung nangyari sa'yo, na nakikita mo siya, that's poetry already. Ilalagay mo na lang siya into words. Okay?
Oo.
The words will express that very witnessing, that very
Right.
experience. So
And
yun.
I
So,
love it that I was able to connect to something that I haven't seen.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, exacto. Yeah.
It's
In fact,
yeah.
isa pang example is that I wrote a poem about about bees, but I never saw a bee. So at that moment when I wrote it, I ang nangyari sa akin, I closed my eyes and then I saw the wings of the bee unfurling. Oh my god, yun yung tula. And then I research a bit about the bees. And then we know that the bees are ano, 'di ba? They're dancing the breeze in the wind and then they come back and then they bring this nectar and they make honey and bee pollen to build their home, 'di ba? Their honeycomb. So that's where the tula revealed to me. And it goes like this, if I may read it.
Yes.
It's actually about ano um, why why we are poets, kung bakit makata. So
Yes, please.
um, kapag kapag nagkakamalay ang mga pakpak, nagagawa nating pag-aralan ng hangin at hanapin ng dako ng mga bulaklak. Babalik tayo, baon ng tamis ng mundo sa ating mga bibig. Ninanamnam ang anumang eternal upang gawing pagkain at pugad. Kung bakit makata. So,
Wow. You're able to connect being a poet to the unfurling of the bee's wings.
ang magical nun, alam mo yun, parang hindi ko nakita yung bees, pero grabe yung experience nung nakita ko yung in my mind's eye, yung the unfurling of the wings. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Doon siya nag-download, sunod-sunod yung words. So,
What I'm also getting from this conversation is that you honor the wordless when you write about it.
yes. Yes. So, um, we have to understand na there's so much to words. Even in the Bible, no, sabi the word was made flesh. So the word was made flesh. Ibig sabihin hindi siya flesh. The word is beyond flesh. It's beyond physical. So it's non-physical. So if you understand but in today's world we built our entire civilization with words. I mean, the laws, everything, alam mo yun, the science, it's all the words, no? We are following this code to keep our civilization running, and then we materialize the word. But essentially, if you go back to the very essence of the word, it's really substance. It's really essence. It's not it's not physical at all. It's non-physical. Our role as a human being is to unite that heaven and earth in a sense. There's earth, which is the material, and the heaven, which is non-material, non-physical. When you unite that, that is the freedom of poetry in a sense. Doon siya magre-reveal. Ano ang connection ng ang words ang pinakatulay. Kaya nga ang tulay, the word tulay has tula, no? There, sabi ng isang friend ko, ang tula ay tulay, no?
All right. I didn't
Ang
realize
tula
that.
ay tulay, oh. Ang tula ay tulay ng nakikita at hindi nakikita, no?
So it bridges the physical and the
The
metaphysical, you're
non-physical,
saying.
yes,
But
exactly.
also when you talk about poetry, you're talking about relationships of the word
Yeah,
and the wordless, relationship of the words and the space,
yes.
relationship of the physical and metaphysical. Wow, so many relationships.
Yes, yeah. It's because it's all about relationships, about connections. Very quality of love. It's a very property of love, pala. It's connecting and relating. So, because in the physical world, there is, of course, hiwalay tayo, di ba? I mean, you have your own nervous system. I have my own nervous system. That's different system, you know. But then we're connecting via the thing that we cannot see. You're hearing the sound energy, you're seeing the light energy right now. This is all non-physical, by the way. So we tap into that, and that's the revelation of our connection. So, di ba?
Wow. The relationship of the visible and the invisible.
Yes,
That's so beautiful. But also, what's revealed to me is that's the reason also why a lot of people can't write poetry or
yes,
mahirapan magtula
yeah,
because we lose connection
yes, yes,
to the things around us. Parang it doesn't matter. Like when you were
yeah,
talking about the clouds and when you were talking about the clouds, I sense that you have so much respect for the clouds. Like this cloud formation will not happen ever again. This will just
Yes.
happen once. You will not see it again. And when you were talking about it, I was saying I can sense so much respect and so much honor for clouds,
Yeah.
clouds. I mean, I was thinking there's so much sacredness
Yeah.
that you put in that moment, no? And
Yes.
sometimes a lot of us are just on our phones scrolling and scrolling that we lose the moment. I
Yes.
was
Totoo.
thinking,
Totoo. Mm. It's all around us, that magic. We tend to search magic from somewhere else, but magic is all abound around us.
yeah, and
So
you were talking about your pantry. That
yeah.
the things in your pantry, they're fighting with each other.
Actually, if I may read the tula, it's funny
Yes,
because
please.
actually hindi exactly yung ano, pero tutulaan ko pa yan yung mga paminta toyo, no? So but then this is
Uh-uh.
different. I heard the word gulaman, ano. So I heard the word gulaman, and it's funny kasi nakita ko na yung mga bigla ko narinig yung sounds, no, the
Right.
rhyming, no? And it goes like this: samaan ng loob. That's the title, samaan ng loob.
Samaan ng loob.
May kinalaman ba ang mga gulaman sa mismong garapon ng mga palaman? Kaya ba ang takip ay mahirap buksan? Pati leche plan ba ay nakikialam? Akala ba nila ito ay minindal? Nalito ba sila sa agahan at almusal? Kaya ba lumamig ang mga pandesal? Kahit wala namang masamang tinapay. So, samaan ng loob, no?
Yeah.
Sabi nung isang friend ko, para daw Toy Story and Night in the Museum, Night at the Museum, alam mo yun, parang nabuhay daw yung mga pagkain. So it's funny. It's funny. It's one of my funny humor poems na getting in touch with that aliveness of things that we don't realize that they are alive. Para meron silang you're making personifying or anthropomorph, sorry, medyo nahirapan ako pronounce yan. parang
Fine.
parang ginagawa mo siyang tao, gano'n. Pero again, even in the Japanese culture, parang they see things with so much
Humor.
animation and humor as well. Parang binubuhay
Yeah.
nila. Ultimo egg yolk, merong caricature, 'di ba? May cartoon. So
Yes.
so
Yes,
what I'm
yes.
saying is that um, that kind of seeing has so much wonder in terms of hindi lang object yan.
Right.
They are sentient in a way. They're sentient beings.
Ah, I
uh,
love, yeah. So, but can you please react to this,
yes.
Rem?
Oh
Malalim ang
yes.
tula. Likha
Yes.
na lang ako ng awit. Sabi ni Yeyot.
Well, yeah, you're
She'll
doing
just
the
make
same
a
thing.
song.
You're doing the same thing, 'di ba? Kasi pag nag-compose ka lang awit, actually mataas yung tradition ng ng songwriting, connection ng songwriting at ng poetry. In fact, the forms that we know today sa poetry has historical connection with hymns, no? In the ancient times. So kaya may mga forms tayo na parang umuulit-ulit in lines, 'di ba?
Right.
So in
I
fact,
think, yeah. I think the two of you can just collab. She does
yeah,
the song,
yeah,
and you do
we've
the
been
words. Di ba
we've
you
been
did
thinking about
collab?
that
You
soon,
collaborated.
very soon. In fact, I wrote this parang set of lyrics. I'm hearing the song. I keep on hearing notes, no? Parang hindi ako musician. I'm a frustrated musician. Sabi ko baka siguro yung musicality ng ng tula, yung musicality na ita-transfer ko sa tula kasi there's always musicality in poetry, no? Kaya
That's true.
marami na kaming na
Collaborations.
collaboration, yes.
Ah, that's so
Masani
beautiful.
Bigha, we call it.
Sige, we're looking forward to your next
Uh,
collaboration.
yes,
But
yes, yes, yes.
Ram, you talk about poetry, not just as a literary piece. You talk about poetry as a means for healing.
Yeah,
How has it helped you in terms of personal healing?
that's a good question. It's a long journey. It's a very long journey. Um, we My experience with words, of course, it starts as a prayer. No, mga I'm praying, and then I wrote prayers in poetry form. Um, working with my pains, with my difficult past, my childhood, basically. It was really difficult to to process all those things, no. Sobrang hirap. I know, I mean, if you have those people who are listening right now, whatever you're experiencing or whatever the past is haunting you, alam mo yun, it's difficult. I know, I feel you, but there's a potential with words to reveal well-being and healing for you, and that is so true for me. My joy is poetry, sobra. And then when I hit that sometime na parang na-realize ko, I can write this. I can just free myself, give myself the permission. I keep on writing. I started with Tanaga, no, the one we talked about, the short poetry, four liners, seven syllables. Keep on writing them, and there's this sense of accomplishment, no, na parang I'm not I'm not seeking any approval for other people. It's just the joy of writing them down. Keep on posting them on Instagram. By the way, my Instagram is at dito muna. You can check it out. Uh, Tapos I'll take pictures. So it's a process of really witnessing what is already before me. Yun nga, yung alam mo yon, nagpe-pay attention ako. And that joy of expressing into words, ina-amplify niya yung source of yung energetic source of of well-being. Um I remember last year when the word balon, the well, was so insightful to me that in the I Ching, in the classic text of I Ching, it's revealed as the source of cool drinking water. So and then it's in the center of the community, no. So whatever that is, um, ang ginhawa that your well-being is not coming outside; it's coming from inside. You have your own source of water deep within. In fact, we're 80% water, di ba? So, di ba? That's the truth. That's a fact. So when you access that, it will keep on upwelling, no? And then it will reveal in a way you create. The creativity. So, nung nagsimula ako mag-create, na pasulat-sulat ako ng konti, ganyan-ganyan, kahit na meron akong um, hindi ako confident sa sarili ko, I was just writing. Um, those little moments are revelations to me. Na pag binalikan ko, oh my God, nasulat ko pala to. So, yung pala, they are piece of the puzzle towards my sense of wholeness, no? Unti-unting nabubuo yung sense of becoming ko na, okay, I can write. I can be confident with what I'm writing. I can just tap into this infinite source of of words, no. Unti-unti sila nare-reveal. Unti-unti sila nare-reveal, and it brings so much joy. Nararamdaman ko unti-unti yung joy. Dati kasi hindi ko nararamdaman yun eh. I felt na parang ang lagi kong feeling tuwing magsusulat ako, parang baka may naka-monitor sa akin sa likod ko. Para nakatutok
Mm.
sila sa akin, no, mali yung sinusulat mo. Yun yung feeling ko all those 10-year process, ano, siguro mga first half noon, or up to the 6th or 7th year, may ganun akong feeling. Eh ang nag-start ako ng 3 years ago lang, 2018, na nagpo-post na ako. Yung mga time na yun, nahihiya pa ako, alam mo yung feeling ko na um, tapos marami pang pinoproseso, marami pang pains. Tapos nung natap ko siya noong 2018, nagkakaroon na ako ng joy unti-unti. Oh my God. And then people are asking me na, so paano sumulat? Paano? Na yung joy na yon natatransmit ko na. Alam mo yon. So ang realization ko doon is that when you tap into your inner water, your inner well, hindi lang ikaw ang iinom doon. Other people will also receive the same ginhawa well-being from you. You are in the center of the community. So, sobrang wonderful sa akin nun. Kasi hindi lang ako yung nakikinawa.
Yeah. And now you're full of joy because before you're
Yes.
talking of moments of joy. But
Yes.
now, di ba I told you, your face is like a happy Buddha. Because
Thank you.
pala, you've been collecting moments of joy
Yes.
every single day.
Yes, yes, yes. Of course, being human, may mga times na we're not in good mood, we're not in fact, nito nakaraan, I was volatile, nagagalit ako lagi. Kasi that's the truth. My fact
Yes.
is I had a very difficult childhood, and that childhood was not um, was not a happy moment for me. But then I was full of anger many years, no? And then that anger was healed over time. Alam mo yun, nakatulong ang community, nakatulong ang creativity, nakatulong ang spirituality. And then yung creativity na yun was translated again back into what I love to do, which is poetry. So
Poetry.
amazing. And I'm happy to always realize na a lot of people are those who are reading my poetry, they find that sense of ginhawa also in them whenever they read them. To me, that's a joyful one. That's sobrang ano yun, sobrang award winning sa akin yun.
Yes, that you're able to transmit the joy.
Yes, yes,
Thank you for sharing about your childhood. Mythos is saying poetry is a release
hello,
from a painful past.
hello, Tita
He
Mitos, hello.
resonates with you.
Yes, amen.
One more thing, we're actually about to hit our time limit. But can you
Yes,
please comment on this?
yeah,
Yeah, because I is saying that healing means unlearning limiting beliefs we pick up in school.
yes,
Because
yeah,
she's saying that I'll just read it. It's so long.
yes,
Another reason why people lose their sense of wonder, imagination, creativity is traditional education.
yeah,
Wherein if the student doesn't speak, draw, write, express concepts exactly the way it's written in the book or on the blackboard, then it is considered wrong. So people grow up more confused on staying within the lines and being afraid of making a mistake. Good thing
yes,
there are more creative and progressive pedagogies around nowadays. So she's saying that it's the school traditional education limits the creativity.
yes, yeah. Well, we of course with respect to our with our teachers, educators, and academics. But some of my friends who are in that path, they also admit the realities of being in the institution. Na it's not actually the institution; it's actually the operating mentality. It is the mindset. The mindset is that we have or the culture. No, we have a right answer culture. I'm an authority who knows the right answer. You have to. I'm going to ask you the question. You have to answer back with the right answer. That kind of dynamic uh, in the school. It's happening in the school. It's happening in our companies. I mean, in our jobs. It's happening. Even it's happening inside our minds.
Yes.
So it happens in the church. No. So all this kind of culture haunts us. It's practically rules dominates our way of thinking. And to me, that way of thinking really limits our creativity. Because creativity is many answer. It's many possibilities. It's full of vibrance, alam mo yun, tawag dito, options, possibilities, opportunities, ang tawag dito, a lot of diversions and sometimes umiikot, alam mo yon. At times you don't know where to in a way when you're exposed to that. And for example, you just look at Pinterest, di ba? Ang dami. Mag-type ka lang ng isang artwork or creative idea, ang dami ng makikita mong mga mga ideas that will pop up in the Pinterest feed. So to me, that's so inspired. That's creative for me.
Yes. So
Uh,
you're saying that it's not linear.
it's
Creativity
not
is never
linear. Oo.
linear. And
Yes, it's the
there's
radiance.
yeah, there's not kasi in most systems, diba, there's only one right
one
answer.
one right answer. I think it works if you want efficiency, if you want structure, if you want
Yeah.
things to get into results, your expected results. Yes. Hindi tayo makapagpalipad ng eroplano without that. Alam mo yun,
Yeah.
with that kind of precision and accuracy. But what we need is not to we don't compromise or sacrifice that wonder and creativity that is the source of that kind of linearity. The non-linear has to rule first. Kailangan
Yeah.
mo na siya mabigyan ng puwang. You have to give space for that. Thank you, Patricia. Hello. She's into
Yeah. She's in
tune in.
tune. And Patricia
Yeah.
resonates with you. She's saying
Yes.
endless possibilities to wonder about. So there.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
going to have speaking of possibilities, you're going to have a class with us this
Yay.
Thursday. It's entitled Words Beyond Words. It's a
Yes.
community class, so everybody can join this. Can you please tell them about this class?
So
What will they
what
expect
we're
from
gonna
it?
do is I'm gonna further explain what it means to access the wordless. Because we only have a limited time here, so we're gonna give some exercises doing so. Words beyond words. It's just beyond words. No, hindi lang yung words that you read, but also the words that is not read. I remember. I want to quote him from the Talaan Datovik. I heard him spoke about reading nature. Alam mo yon. Sometimes the we might not learn reading books, but we have this capacity to read nature, everything around us. That to me is so beautiful. Alam mo yun, parang, and that's somehow we're gonna touch in our class this Thursday. Na paano mo babasahin yung hindi nababasa? Are you gonna read what is unreadable? Hindi siya words eh. So yeah. So
Wow.
and
So we're excited
mm,
for that class. And so please just register. It's on our events page. I also put the link on the box, on the chat box.
yes.
So it's Datu Vic Saway. Big
Yes, yeah, Dr. Vic,
Ketay.
thank you so much for that insight.
Big
Thank you, Ali,
Saway.
for putting his name. Thank you po. I remember I heard that back in 2012 during the Kapwa conference. Hindi ko naalala yung exact niyang words, but then the very gist of his message really struck me kasi and that was 2012, ano? That was 6 years before
Yeah. You
I
started
started writing more and more, no.
writing.
So and then I always tell this to my class kasi yung kapangyarihan na mabasa yung nasa paligid mo, that to me is wonder, that to me is creativity, that to me is inspiration, that to me is
Yeah.
magic, alam mo yun?
Right. And you still remember it up to this day.
Yes,
What you
yes,
heard from 2012,
yeah.
2014. Yeah. Uh, here I this is
Mm.
from Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Sudden insight. Right culture can be reframed into right
Uy,
culture.
oo nga, no.
Diba? This is beautiful, Kate.
Amen,
You're
thank you.
actually rewriting and unwriting our
Our
narrative.
narratives or stories. So, there's an insight I had also 8 years ago in relation to what Kate has said. Writing is the right thing to do. So, writing is the right thing to do. So, yes, kasi whenever you write, it's actually an extension of your heart. Kasi ang kamay mo, I have this poem which I'm gonna read later. So,
Yes.
relation to heart. No? Ang heart ay extension. Ang kamay ay extension ng heart mo. So, hindi mo
Yeah.
nakikita yung puso mo. Nasa loob siya, di ba? It's all in you. But then,
Mm-mm.
if you want to feel the beat of your heart, di ba dito natin inaano sa pulse? Right, Patricia? Yeah, Patricia is a acupuncturist. Eh. So she does this more oftentimes. Uh, pin, pinupulsuhan natin yung sarili natin, which means that there's a real connection, an anatomical, physiological connection between our hearts and our hands. And whatever that we feel in our hearts, we express in our hands. And writing is a wonderful expression of that. So, thank
Oh,
you.
that's beautiful. We write what our hearts feel. On that
Yeah.
note, can you share with us that reflection so we usually end the conversation with some kind of a reflection?
Yes. This poem, can I write? Can I read two poems
Yes,
ba? Okay lang
please.
ba?
You can read
So, I'm gonna,
3 if you want or 4.
oh, yes. Oh, thank
Anyway,
you.
those are just short poems.
Sige,
Yeah.
parang ano lang. So,
Yes.
uh, yung, yung first na babasahin ko is, ihuli ko yung tungkol sa heart. No? But then, the first I'm gonna read is, it's entitled Liminal. Ano? Liminal is the threshold. You don't know where you you haven't entered but you haven't stepped back. Alam mo yun, parang nasa gitna ka ng ano na yun, ng nasa limit sa space na yun. This is one of my favorite a bit of ano, hindi naman ganong kahaba, but then let me read it. And it's connected with the words as well, the wordless and the being human, ano. So I'm gonna read this. Liminal. Ako ang salamin, ang ningning ng buhangin. Walang lihim at dilim na hindi tatagos. Ako ang hamba sa pinto at tarangka, hiwagang pagitan sa labas at loob. Ako ang tulay, ang tagapag-ugnay, ng mga dakot ibayong hiniwa ng ilog. Ako ang pantalan, estasyon, paliparan, dimensyon ng mga bansang labas-masok. Ako ang puno, ang matandang ninuno, ang banal na ugat at sanga ng ibutod. Ako ang bundok, ang bangin na tuktok, buntis na panaginip ng lupang natutulog. Ako ang dagat, ang laya ng layag, ang iisang dungan ng mga lupalop. Ako ang kidlat, ang elektrisidad, ang tagpuan sa hangin ng diklap at kulog. Ako ang apoy, ang araw na patuloy, sa eternal na alab ng lahat ng pag-iinog. Ako ang gitna, ang mata ng isda, ang puso ni Kristo sa nagsanib na bilog. Ako ang tao, ang magkabilang dulo ng langit at lupa sa pusod ng Diyos. Liminal.
Wow.
Salamat po.
Liminal. You're talking about being a
Yes.
bridge?
Yes, yeah. So the liminality is a threshold. Alam mo yun, yun yung kaya may hamba dun eh. That's the frame of the door, no. Hindi mo alam kung
Mhm.
nasa labas ka o nasa loob. That's the power of words in our lives, no. Hindi mo alam kung nasa physical ka o non-physical. It's always a bridge. The physical and non-physical. It's very liminal, ano. Being human being is like that. We have the soul in the physical body, you know. So we're always in the liminal state, no. And it's really parang if I talk about the wordless, I talk about this poem. So so babasahin ko uli yan sa ano
Mhm.
sa class natin. So anyway, and you can access the ano on my account. Actually, ipo-post ko na pala sa ano sa blog. So soon.
Yeah, so you'll see
So
that.
yes, we'll see that poem. Another thing is another tula that I'm gonna read is this one is in partnership with because I write my favorite moment is the sunset kasi it's always kaleidoscopic. At the same time, I was born in the sunset, so uh, thank you thank you, Kate. um, uh, so marami akong tula. I've got so many poems written in sunset about the sunset. So and this one is about the sunset and about being a poet. Okay, so I'm gonna read that. That's in connection with the bee poem kanina, no? So it's entitled. I'm gonna try to read also in English, no? May English version ako. Rough translation lang po. No expectation. But anyway, I'm gonna read first in the Filipino and then in English. Ano ba ang makata? Papel ang nangungutim na kanluran ng dapit hapon at pailan-ilang kuwit ang bagwis ng mga pauwing ibon. Kisap matang isusulat ng langit ang mga tula at walang naiiwan kahit isang salita. Paper is the west darkening in this dusk. A few commas are wings of birds flying home. In an instant, the sky writes poems and leaves behind not a single word. Amen. Thank you.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Rem. You should do spoken word poetry also, you know.
Isang genre na, sige, subukan natin yan.
Yeah.
Explore.
Patricia Tamale saying
Hi,
wordsmithing is
Patricia.
heart linking. It's
Yes.
reflective thinking, written music for of the
Amen po.
soul.
Thank you for this
Thank
message.
you.
Heart thinking. Oh my God. Patricia and Patricia, hello. We have two
Patricia and
Patricias.
Patricia, so
Thank you. Thank you.
beautiful.
Yes.
And I love her play with words, wordsmithing and heart linking.
Yes.
No, it's so beautiful.
Written music
Thank
of
you
the soul.
everybody for thank you everyone for being with us. And Yeah, Laura is saying, thank you, Ram, for sharing your light and playful
Thank
spirit,
you.
reminding how writing is a creative release.
Amen.
And final words for everybody here. We have to finish the conversation
Okay
because
po.
it's way past
Okay.
an hour.
Oh,
But
sorry.
if you,
Yes.
it's okay, it's okay. Anyway, please join our community class. It's open for
Yes.
everybody. Just register and you'll get to learn more from Rem. And you
Yes.
get to
Thank
speak to
you.
him directly. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So see
that's
you
this
po sa
Thursday
Thursday.
at 6
Yes.
p.m. And yeah,
Thank you. Meron
Melanie
dito.
saying,
Hey.
salamat sa pagpapaalala. When you mentioned about the clouds, may feeling ko insight. Sobrang
Yes.
preoccupied. Nakalimutan yung feel ng moment.
Yes.
Oo.
Thank you. Yeah, watch ka lang ng clouds. Tingnan mo yung background natin, clouds din.
Oh, that's true.
Di
Yeah.
ba?
And
Very,
Patricia
very
said,
apt. Thank you, Patricia.
yeah. So
Thank you,
what you're
Melanie.
saying is
Yes.
for you to cultivate your
Yeah.
sense of wonder, Rem, or giving you very simple tips. You have to pay attention,
Pay
number
attention.
one.
Sure.
And then yeah, tune into the wordless. What because the wordless wants to
Yes.
has words for you, right?
At
And then
first
you're saying,
it might be challenging kasi if you're so oriented with words. But then that's a beautiful challenge. Masaya to. So fun challenge as well. When you tap
yeah,
into
and
it, it's like opening your faucet, no, dire-diretso yung tubig. So yeah.
yeah, and you're saying also just write
Just
whatever.
right.
You don't
Yes.
have to think
Oh,
about
yeah.
grammar or anything.
Yes.
Just write.
Give yourself the permission to express yourself. Later na yung mga later na yung mga grammar and matututuhan din natin yan. We're gonna learn those things. But then crafting is a huge part of what I'm doing. But then it's whenever you're starting, uh, you have to open muna into wonder and let the words come out. Yun muna ang
Uh,
pinakamahalaga. That's the most important part.
wow. That's so beautiful. Open
Yeah.
to wonder and then let the words come out. Is there anything else that you want to tell them? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's saying your poems widen my heart
Yes.
with
Yes.
joy.
She's a
Thank
friend.
you for sharing your time and knowledge with us. You're welcome. Okay, final
Thank you,
words for
Justin.
everybody. Ang dami nilang
Yes,
thank you.
final
Final words.
words. Final words. I'm gonna read a poem again. And then this is connected with the heart. No, 4 lines lang, Tanaga. So ang title po ay Puso. Puso. Sintigas ng kamao, ang puso kapag bato. Simbanayad ng palad, ang puso kapag bukas.
Oh, that's so true. If yeah,
Sintag,
for the ones for our English speaking friends, what he's
yes.
saying is that our fists
As hard as
are
a
as
stone.
hard as a rock when it's
Yes, as hard
closed,
as a rock. Yeah.
but when they're as soft as what?
It's so gentle when it's opened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. And
yes.
it's very connected to wonder. It's really just being
Exactly.
open to it,
You just open.
right?
Yeah.
Just open up to it. Oh
Yes.
wow, this is so beautiful. I love this conversation. And please
Thank you.
join Rem's community class so
Yes.
you'll learn more from him. So
Thank you
we
to
really
my
have to
friends. Hello. Salamat po na marami.
yeah.
Yes.
All your
Yeah.
friends are here. Thank you for
Yes.
watching,
Thank you.
everyone. And thank you, Ram, for this really inspiring and joyful conversation. Thank you
Amen.
so much. And I'll see
Thank
you
you,
on
thank you, Karen.
we'll see you
Yes.
on
See you on Thursday.
Thursday. We'll see you
Salamat
on
ng marami.
Thursday. All right. Bye for now, everyone. We'll see
Okay,
you
bye-bye everyone.
soon.
So,
Bye.
have a wonderful week. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
And join us
salamat
for
po.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Bye-bye. See
see you on
you.
Thursday. Salamat
See you
po.
Thursday.
Bye-bye. Yes.